Everybody, thanks for checking out the Chris Gethard Show podcast. It's really cool that you're checking this out.
We're about to do, I think, the dumbest show we've done in years.
His life would be trash! You better believe I'm trashed.
We are scrappy trash people.
What's the point of this show? I just turned it on.
We've always been with this show.
We've always been trash people. We will always be trash people.
It's true.
This doesn't feel real.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Live from my mother's basement. We are the Trash People. I'm Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, keeper of the Canon.
And we are hella excited today to be talking to another fan of a Planet Scum show about their art. Yeah, that's right. LEDLite. That's who we're gonna talk to. Woo! No, we talk about things related to Planet Scum, and we have a badass fan coming to talk to us today. Strap right the hell in. We're gonna bring them up. That's right. It's LEDLite. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for saying it correctly. I've reconciled with it being LEDLite, as it also rhymes with headlight, which is that works too. That's also a pun. So it's not like it's my initials or anything, but yeah.
Love it. Would you tell us, is there an origin to that name?
It's just my initials, and
Okay.
at some point, LED are my initials, and I went, I'm gonna make a pun.
That's fucking brilliant.
There's nothing emotional about it. But my mom says LEDLite also, which cracks me up. So I'm resigned. I'm like, I didn't know people in the world didn't get it. So yes, it wasn't. but yeah. And now I've had it for so long that I'm like, I can't change it. I've watermarked everything on my art account with it, and that's a pain in the ass. So yeah. Lauren, that works too.
Lauren, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. You are known among the Planet Scum community as a George Lucas talk show stan. Like, you were just on their show. You're always pumping out the art. Tell us about your relationship with Star Wars as like a way of introducing yourself. What's your Star Wars story, and how does it intersect?
My solo Star Wars story. Yeah. Well, you know what's really funny? I think about sometimes how like omnipresent it is, because I was trying to be like, when did I ever not know that Darth Vader was Luke's father? And I don't think there was ever a time that I knew that. You know, like I just feel like it just was there. Probably through like cartoon parodies or something. You never know. But yeah, I mean, we had the tapes when I was little. I pulled these out of the closet. We're never going to bring these on the George Lucas talk show, but like I have the rough drafts. They're right here. They're every time I think about what I saw on that stage at UCB, like I cringe a little bit. Also, look how ripped Luke is.
Right?
Right.
Mark Hamill, no. But anyway, but yeah, these have like you can see the outlines around the TIE fighters and stuff. So they're just
gorgeous.
They're never going to UCB.
Locked away.
But yeah, so we had the videos, so I saw them, and then like the 1997 releases, they all sort of coincided with like my sister used to be in bowling tournaments that would be throughout the state.
That's sick.
I'm the only person in my family who can't bowl, so there's that. But anyway, they sort of coincided with us traveling around the state, and we like, so I saw some of them out of town, but also we saw like we would go to a bowling tournament, and little bored sister would like demand to go to nearest toy store, zoo, whatever. And I remember I picked up a bunch of the like 1997 action figures just as like a thank you for coming, we know you're bored, here we go. But yeah, I saw the 1997 releases in theaters, and it was a big deal. And I got my appendicitis during Return of the Jedi when I was 10.
That's amazing. When exactly? Fun. Do you remember when exactly?
It was during an Ewok scene. It was definitely it was later in the movie, and I was like, I like movies are so important in my family. Like I was always such a good kid about like being in theaters, being respectful. Like you know, we go see everything, and like I remember like my stomach hurt so bad that I was like little kid. I was like holding my shit together like in the seat and like watery. And finally my mom was like, something is wrong. We got to get out of here. So we got like a, a readmission ticket or whatever. And the next morning I like could not move my leg. It had to be like taken directly to the hospital and emergency appendectomy. So yeah, and then I had a Death Star poster in the hospital. Everyone sent me like Star Wars stuff. I think I still have it somewhere.
Oh my
so
God.
That was fun. Yeah, I remember getting very sick while Jaws was on the hospital TV, and people were like, "Do you want me to change this?" Because it was like the chum chucking scene, and I was like, "No." So that was interesting. And then I went back to the AMC that we'd gotten the readmission ticket to, and it's really cute because on the stub it says "Real Sorry" with the REE, because it's nothing you did, AMC. I just something had gone wrong. So yeah, I associate Ewoks being blurry, like because that. Yeah, and then like I was all up in the prequels because I was 11 when they came out, and they were, Jar Jar is he is a very cute character design, and you're 11, and they were like pushing that guy hard. And yeah, I had the Mountain Dew. We have a standee of Jar Jar in the house in the attic. I did mention this at the George Comic-Con the one year, but he's still here. He's like 7 feet tall. I think how like Erin Dark, she went on George Lucas and she had the Watto. It's that set, so I have the Jar Jar.
Oh yeah. Wow.
We one time brought it to my middle school. My English teacher hated him, and we, with the corroboration with my social studies teacher, who was like next door, and when she was at lunch, we got the keys to her room and we propped up Jar Jar in the room. And she came in and had a cow, and it was fun. So it wasn't useless. It was useful for that. So yeah. My dad worked at a supermarket, so he had access, and it was like, oh, you could have gotten Obi-Wan or Darth Maul, definitely. But it's fine. Yeah. And then I loved all the prequels. Now I can't really get through them. They're sort of. Yeah. I'm not one of those ones. I'm not one of those people who's like, actually, they're great. I think they're fine. I think they're just internet. I think they're just fine. Obi-Wan is great. I'm very excited for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it was Watto in it, they haven't given him the call. We don't know.
That has to be the surprise reveal,
right?
The big cameo at the end of it. But like, Luke,
they
have to leave something for everyone to be talking about.
Yeah.
Like you got to see it because you don't know.
It would be such a good, like it's shadowy, and then you just hear like, ugh, that horrible noise. Does he even do it, or is that just a Griffinism? We don't know. And then he emerges from the shadows, the little wings, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah, no.
What's funny is I cannot remember if he makes the noise in the movie, but I think he makes the noise in the episode 1 video game.
Oh, okay.
Or like in the pod racing game, because I have this memory of like looking through trying to fix my pod and him making the noise.
Yeah. It's him and like Sebulba.
Oh, he does.
They're both weird. That would be so great. I remember I had a birthday party that was like Phantom Menace themed, and I definitely had like a Sebulba poster because there was like teams or something, but like whatever. I had a Jar Jar cake. I definitely have a picture of that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then years later, I was doing the Disney College program, and I specifically interviewed being like, put me in the Star Tours area because like it's such a fun area. It was pre Galaxy's Edge. So I wound up, the way that worked was it was called like Superstar Loop. Yeah, there I am. That's 10 years ago. I am ancient. That was the last summer for that specific outfit, and that outfit is terrible. because not like looking, whatever. It looks like a flight suit, but like you'll note that it's Orlando and there are cuffed ankles and it is 90 degrees.
And boots.
Well, you had to wear black shoes. That was like a whole thing. Yeah. It's all like polyester and yeah. And I definitely like split a pair of those pants because the crotch is like not where it should be on a lady form. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a unisex flight suit. So yeah, that was like one of the last weeks I was just sort of winging around like a $400 lightsaber because I was done. It was like my end of my college program, and I had a good manager. Like it was fun. Yeah, I built lightsabers. This was again. Now they have like they have like those super like here's $100 and you have to do the whole like, you know, ceremony at Link in Galaxy's Edge. Now I worked there in the time where it was like here's a bin of plastic things, like it's a Mr. Potato Head. And
I did a version of that, and I don't know where mine went.
At a celebration.
At Celebration, like the one where they announced Galaxy's Edge, I think they had like that older version still, and it was so much fun. All right, you have your.
I just noticed my
Mace Windu.
My Mace Windu. And I had to grab it. The best thing I ever got from a Costco.
Yeah.
Oh, Kylo!
Yeah, I did a little Reachy.
Just little Reachies. We all just
I have
some
my
little
Luke
Reachies.
I got from a Borders books.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing when like working this summer, like building lightsabers, it's like I can identify the old trilogy lightsabers by the handle because that was the little. Yeah, that's a funny thing. And I got very opinionated because like you'd have little kids and you could do the double emitter and they would get one and they'd put like a red blade and a green blade and I'd be like, "What are you doing? What side are you on, kid?" But I had to keep it inside.
You can't
just
have
help
it all.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as tolerance of intolerance, child.
Yeah, but my lightsaber, I'm not a huge Kylo person. This was because I used to write for a movie website and like I did like reviews and interviews. I didn't like do product reviews, but I got an email out of the blue that was like, "We're from wherever. Would you like to review our Kylo saber?" And I was like, "Are you going to send that to me?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Yeah, I'll review your lightsaber." My review is it's heavy and you can click it on and off. And it's not it doesn't make a cool sound. It's just like a light switch.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it's about So I don't know what they expected from me, but I have a lightsaber now. So there we go.
If anyone asks if you want to review a lightsaber, yes is the only answer.
Right? It was just such a goofy thing, and I was like, all right, yeah. Oh, and then I do have a funny story. When I went to see Force Awakens, this will be like the end of my Star Wars journey, I guess. And then I'll get to George Lucas. But when I went to see Force Awakens opening night in Lincoln Square, John Boyega ran into the theater, and it's like nothing's ever gonna beat that. He was just taking a taxi and stuff. Apparently, he hit like multiple theaters that night. He went to Brooklyn, he went to Manhattan, and he just popped in and he went, "Thanks for coming out." I remember one guy yelled like, "Oh shit, he's British," and he was like, "I am British." So that was sort of funny. Yeah, and then George Lucas talk show. It's like I'm sad that I didn't know how like it's been going for like 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Around
there, yeah.
I don't think I ever would have been able to like make when it was like the late show just because of commuter logistics. But like, what happened was one Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, I was queuing to try to get into an advanced screening of Bad Times at the El Royale, which we'll come back to. And it was like first come, first serve, whatever. And I had like my little agenda, and I always have like this or this, this or this. And that was my backup. It was like, if you don't get into the screening, there's this thing, George Lucas talk show. Someone's going to play George Lucas. And like one of the McElroys is going to be there. And I'm like, oh, I'll listen to my Bim Bam. Yeah, I'll check those guys out. Yeah. And then I got there and it was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like it was great. So yeah. And then from then on, I every month on the first Friday, it was like a whole ritual. Like I would go out for some food. I brought a friend once or twice and I would go. I even went, I think it's funny that they're doing the George Lucas, like that documentary, because any B-roll for like 2 years, I had like neck braces. So you can see me pre-surgery in the audience with like these big neck brace. Like I'm still there, like Joan Cusack and whatever John Hughes movie that was. But yeah, so yeah. And then like the first fan art I did for that was January 2020. The Watto that I sent you, that was is you getting that? Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it was just a really funny pose that Griffin did because someone asked Watto if he was making any New Year's resolutions, and Watto said, "Why mess with perfection?" And he just did that little pose, like, "Look at this," and popped the leg. It was really cute. So I had to draw it, and it was Wanda was extremely satisfying to draw. Like, I just like drawing creatures and things, and like nooks and crannies, and all the bullshit he has is also in like dragons and animals and textures. So yeah, he's very satisfying to draw, even though he is objectively terrible, according to a Taco Bell code.
I'd love to go into that, because looking at your art, the thing that struck me the most was the textures. It's like a big thing for me. And you have been exploring creatures and fan things. It seems like fandom is really your inspiring light for drawing things, almost like an LED light.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
20-minute trash people.
Tell me about your history as an artist and how fan art has interplayed with that. And while that's happening, Forrest, if I could have you pull up some of this gorgeousness.
Yes, so I told you I got a degree in film and animation with emphasis on animation. But you know, it took me the whole time of schooling to realize that I did not like doing animation, because the stamina you need for it is insane. You have to hit the, like, my peers had the timing stuff down. Like, I never was able to nail it down. I'm not even bitter about that. It's just like, it's just a fact. And also it's like, I can't work like quickly. Like, it's hard for me to like frame by frame. It's hard for me to move on. So I find that, there's Dakota from Bad Times at the El Royale. Yeah. I'm trying to do a series for them, but yeah, I because I like doing details. Like, you can see, like, with this character series, I've been trying to just take the character from the movie and integrate like their whole deal. Like, if you've seen it, you know what she's holding, you know that the fuck you part and all this stuff. So yeah, with animation, it's like you got to do frame by frame and keep it all together and cohesive. Whereas I'm like, I need to illustrate. I need to like get into the nooks and crannies. It usually takes me like, I really like drawing noses. People hate drawing noses. If I start on a face, it's like, you got to move on. You got to draw. I had an art teacher that, like, he would always say, what did he say? He was like, your specialty is like finished, unfinished, which is his way of saying, like, I would focus on a cool thing. This area would be cool. And then I would bullshit the rest. And it was like, no, you have to like finish it. So yeah, do you have, oh yeah, that's Cynthia Erivo. She's barely formed. That's probably going to get like half erased. But I've been joking, like, that movie came out in 2018 and there's like 6 characters. And I'm like, I'll be lucky if I finish this series by like the 5th year anniversary of this movie. But what are you going to do? But this is the other thing. It's like, whenever I see something, if a movie hits me, the way I like process it is like, oh, I got to spend a good month sort of getting this all out of my system. I've got to, it's like, okay, I'll say I love Bad Times at the El Royale. I think it's great. I think it's underrated. I like Drew Goddard's other movies. I like Cabin in the Woods. I liked, oh shit, now I'm blanking on his other movies. He's got other movies. They're good. But if it's a movie that I think is a little underrated and I like the art direction, I will definitely tackle it. So that was one of them. Can you pull up the Billy one? Because the Chris Hemsworth one is, of course, it's the one I finished.
Yes.
Given my fandom history, have some experience drawing Chris Hemsworth's face. So he came out very quickly and easily. Yeah, and he was. Oh,
here's Billy.
Billy. I think Bad Times at the El Royale would make a good movie to pair up with either Knives Out or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I can elaborate further if necessary. They both have Knives Out, and then they both have MCU Chris being shitty. They have a Johnson between Dakota and John, and they got great art direction. And yeah, there's the completed one, so that was fun. But yeah, they're all going to wind up getting gradually more elaborate. Like, every time I do this, I wind up starting one way, and then, like, you can see the Dakota one has like way many more details already, and I'm like, Lauren, what are you doing? But, yeah.
Textures are so, like Yezu Heise mentioned,
I know,
are so
it's the textures,
great on
it's
this.
the layers, it's the details. Let's pull up some of the gorgeous ones with the old costuming.
Oh, the Crimson Peak ones, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to show that as sort of an entrance into also talking about how you cosplay.
I did once.
Like the whips.
Or I did I did twice, but once that I'm willing to show. The other one is just sort of my first attempt. It was a lot of hot glue and prayers.
That's what all cosplay is really made of. Hot glue and
prayers.
What was the first fandom that you started making art for? Do you have a memory of that?
I mean, does it count if I say I was 6 in Jurassic Park? Like, does that count?
That absolutely counts.
Okay.
Not every
Jurassic
kid sees
Park.
a movie and is like, I'm going to draw characters from that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to watch my characters do things.
There's the middle step of being scared shitless of that movie and then going, oh, actually... Yeah, this is some Crimson Peak little fan art. That's another one. I'm obsessed with Crimson Peak. I think it's beautiful. I think not enough people saw it in theaters. I think it's finally getting its due because every Halloween there's inevitably an article that's like, Crimson Peak was marketed badly, but it's actually a low-key horror, gem. And I'm always like, hi, I was there on day one. Like, whatever. I love period costume. Like, I never dress up. I cannot think of wearing a big girly dress, but drawing them is so fucking amazing. Just so many things, but it's like puffy sleeves, everything. I love drawing them. So like every Halloween I dip back into Crimson Peak. But yeah, Jurassic Park, I remember I saw, it scared the crap out of me, and then I decided it was the best thing I've ever seen. Like there was a little lag there. Thank you, St. Christopher. Exactly. I'm here to defend the well production designed October releases. That's literally both of them. And what's funny is actually we were talking about cosplay. I remember very distinctly we had a thing in kindergarten where it was like you had to dress up like a character from a book. So I'm 6. I'm in kindergarten. I didn't bring Jurassic Park the book. I like the Michael Crichton. Didn't know that existed. I brought like the flip novelization square book of Jurassic Park. But it's like, okay, so you got Lex, you got Sattler, right? No. I dressed up as Dr. Robert Muldoon, the guy who gets eaten by the raptors. So I just threw gender right out the window when I was a little kid. I was like, that guy's got a cool accent. I like his whole deal. It's a shame about the Raptors, but I get to wear a vest. So that I think that counts as my first fandom because I can remember being like, I'm gonna dress as that guy, and I had like a little trading card from like a game he was in. So, gender is so fun.
Very true.
Yeah, and also the fact that he was right about everything. Like, they should have put locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors. I was like, that guy. I still identify with those characters. I dressed up as Newt from Pacific Rim one time. I should have sent you that picture. That's another one where it's like, shit's gonna hit the fan,
Let's check out this one, because I am so impressed. Tell me about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's sort of like a weird question to be like, tell me about your fandoms because you attack all of them with so much details, so much precision. You're really just like head first into them. Why do you think that iterating on these narratives is so integral to your art?
It's just like it's like when you like something so much, it's like you don't know where to put it. So that's my way of like just processing it. When I read books, I do that too. Like it's hard for me to like read a book when I'm not like actively casting in my head who should be in this book, and I know people who read like are so like I don't read that much, but like the series that I've been into, it's like I have a whole thing in my head of like this person is this and this person is this, and then I have to sketch
what's
it out.
your favorite and what's with your fan what is your favorite fan cast that you have done of a book that you love? As you pull up, I'm going to point at the ones I want you to pull up.
Yes.
Not the ones the things that I sent you were from the series Temeraire, is His Majesty's Dragon. It's the Naomi Novik series. That was the last one that I really dove into. And well, he's too old now, but there's a character named Granby that like, he's a very fun character. He's like a second in command because the concept of these books is that it's the Napoleonic Wars, so it's like Master and Commander, but also there's dragons. Why are we getting more Game of Thrones series when this series exists is beyond like a criminal thing.
All we want are the dragons. It's like they're acting like we want something other than just to see dragons.
So I know, like I got to meet that author. Yeah, that was one of the pictures. That was a whole phase I got into. The commonality here is none of them look the same style. I don't think. But
really, you don't feel like your drawings have similar or
I don't
are of the
know.
same style?
I don't know. I feel like I don't get many followers because I feel like a lot of accounts have their thing, and I feel like I'm all over the place.
You
So,
don't
like,
have
I
a
don't.
gimmick.
I guess I wouldn't. I mean, like, it's cynical to call it a gimmick, but I don't have consistency. I don't know. When I was whining about this to Eric Germ, he said versatility, and I said okay. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. There's
That's
that.
what I think. I wanted to show off one of the Asgardians. Oh, I definitely want to show off that one. But the other thing that I noticed in your art is there's reimaginings. I know that you have one that's like the happy ending for the Asgardians, which is like,
wait,
right?
is that the one where they're all in bed?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I just. Or no, I had the one where it's like Thor and Val just like sleeping. Val, like I know her.
Oh,
My good
yeah.
friend Valkyrie. Yeah.
Yeah.
My ships are
Yeah.
showing, as the kids say on the internet. Yeah.
But I love that as it's like, well, I mean, of course it's like fan art, but it's like a whole fan fiction in that art.
Yeah.
Like the art is telling us a story of
Yeah.
what you would want to do with that story.
That's narrative art.
Yeah.
I guess put it in the Lucas Museum. Yeah, no. It's funny because like I don't write fanfic. I read it. I pass no judgments. I read complete,
Of course.
the
yeah.
whole spectrum, fluff
Yeah.
to garbage to everything.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because I do have friends where, like, you know, I'll draw something like this, or the other one I draw a lot of Sif and Loki together, and I'll send in like bullet points everything that's going on, every single thing, every snippets of dialogue, and they'll be like, "This is amazing! Like, put it on," and I'm like, "Nah, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna stay here. It's gonna go on in the drawing, but it's for you in my chat, and that's about it." Yeah. So yeah, and like Valkyrie had a flying horse. Like, how could you not?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tell me about your artistic inspirations with your styles. I know I saw this one and was like, Disney! It's Disney! There's
yeah.
Disney! Disney!
Okay, so I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I used to run a blog that was a crossover of MC. It was Always Sunny quotes over MCU screen caps. I ran it religiously for like years, but it's since I've faded. But yeah, that was the season of Always Sunny where Mac got super ripped. And you know, Danny DeVito was there. So what happens in Hercules? Hercules got ripped and Danny DeVito was there. Right. And also it's like, I got a chance to draw the little toe knife. If anyone watches Always Sunny, he has a toe knife, which is uniquely gross. And yeah, it was really fun to draw that. And it was like the most, meticulous I've been, because usually, you know, I'm just drawing for myself, but I was like, no, I want to draw it in the exact Hercules style with the color palette being the same. So that was like, I was strictest with myself on that one. I should do more Always Sunny art. I love drawing the Always Sunny guys. I think I sent you the Pepe Sylvia one too.
Yeah. Let me pull that
Pepe
one
Sylvia,
up.
Pepe Sylvia.
It's so good.
How long does it take you from, you know, conception to completion to finish a piece? Is there a generalized, or some pieces just come out real fast and some you're like, this sits?
Exactly right.
I've come to it.
I've been working on, like, I finished the line art on the Dakota Johnson drawing like months ago, and she's been sitting in my Procreate with various degrees. Yeah, there's who is Pepe Sylvia. Pepe Sylvia, I got buckets of mail. Yeah, I love that scene so much. It's Pennsylvania, you guys. I'll do the line art, and then it's like the lag time between the coloring and the line art is a thing. That's why
I'm obsessed with your line art, though. Can I just throw that out there? A lot of your figures, they are drawn with, there's so many lines in the figures, and it feels so energetic. It almost feels like you grabbed a pencil and like, but then like images appeared from it. It's like it looks like magic.
There's such a strong like dynamism to it, and the emotion conveyed with every character is so
like
good.
a child in a horror movie. I'm just kidding.
but like one of those ones where you're like, that child has to be possessed because no child can draw that well.
Drawing the ring. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. No. Sometimes everything goes really fast. Like but then I was talking about this before we came on, was like the pandemic kind of like it's hard. I feel like it's hitting like art people hard, because you get people who don't really do that stuff being like, oh, you have so much time in quarantine to like do stuff, and you're like, yeah, but like my brain is jello, and I'm like at this baseline of like, is everything okay? I have to check on this thing.
Yeah.
Especially the previous administration that shall not be named, where it was like every day was something more horrible, bad decisions, and it was like closing that all down so you can just sit and draw, and also not feel like, why am I drawing this silly thing right now?
Yeah.
The world is broken. That was the whole thing. So there's that. But I took a month off of where I work because my dad was going for surgery, and I didn't want to be like a vector of exposure. So I got to do like family leave and just stay home for a month. And in that month, they dropped the first Loki trailer of the TV show, and I rapid fire drew.
Are you fucking nuts? Excited. I want
beyond.
this card deck so bad. Keep pulling up these cards. Are you gonna make a deck? Are you gonna make a deck?
Hold on.
Because you also have it in some of the work in progress, which I love.
I have like the
different
prototypes.
styles.
I did print out a couple for myself to see how they looked like in real size. Hold on. The copyright free Asgardian god from Norse mythology and not from any other IP. Totally.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did just print out one sort of size set to see how they looked. The Infinity War one's my favorite.
God, keep pulling those up. Keep pulling them up. Keep pulling them up.
I did all of them.
Adore them. I love how you do the two different poses up and down. I really like that work in progress one, because the style feels so almost like Art Deco to me.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. These are other things where it's like I can't be angry kid with a crayon. These are very like, they start that way, but then I have to like pare it down. Yeah, so I did all the Lokis, and now I'm backtracking, and this is Elizabeth Swann from Dead Man's Chest. I decided I'm gonna label them as 3 queens and then 1 king. Obviously, she became Fire King. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my like. It's so funny. Like Pirates was like such a huge fandom for me. It hit when I was 16, and that was like, I really liked Gore Verbinski. I know there was just that whole March Madness with the Blank Check crowd, and I like I campaigned so hard for him. Didn't work out, but I campaigned so hard because he's a filmmaker who does all production design, and it's gritty. If you watch Mouse Hunt or even The Mexican, it's like everything's texture. There it is. And I was really into Pirates because it was like, a bunch of favorite actors and favorite ride, because I'm like this giant Disney nerd. And I think I was the only person when they announced it, they were like, they're like, a theme park ride, what is wrong with you? And I was like, guys, no. But I was 16, so I was probably insufferable about it.
It's an experience, okay? My favorite memory of Disneyland was, I was 8, my cousin and I, we were up really early because we had to go home that day, and we got on the Pirates ride, and there was no one in line, so they let us just stay on the Pirates ride for like 4 times in a row.
Yeah, and I'm not settled on this color scheme. This is the Curse of the Black Pearl one, but again, I love period outfits, so I had a lot of fun with her. Yeah, but that was the other thing. It hit while I was sort of graduating high school, going into college with the sequels, and because I was doing all my homework, I never fan arted it. Like it was like it was there, and I was super obsessed, and it was like I was all over it, and then I didn't process it. So like pandemic happens, there's no new movies, I go and revisit old fandoms, and then I'm like, I've never drawn Elizabeth Swann, and I love her. What have I done here? So that's why I've circled back, and now I'm working on her to just get it out of my system. Yeah. So
I'm like pointing at the screen. I'm like, show
for the chat. I gave them a Dropbox
dragon.
because I was indecisive, and they have a whole things.
I have been enjoying looking at these.
They're all so good.
So much.
Yeah.
Have you ever like?
Oh yeah, that's Temeraire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever
dragon.
tried making up your own characters, or do you have any like characters that you've drawn, as a young person, as an older person, where you're like, this is my headcanon? Nothing
reoccurring. When I was little, I definitely, when I was little, I definitely drew people who were very steampunky, even though I didn't know the term. like I didn't know the term until like high school, but then when the second I heard that label, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely was doing that. Like I used to draw this really, I do have a through line, which is like thin, I would say pointy people, because that's a Tim Burton thing. If you're a Tim Burton child, everyone's like stretched out. Like, yeah, Tom Hiddleston, you can cut, you know, things on his cheekbones. So yeah, pointy people has to be a thing. But so yeah, I definitely had characters that I but nothing like named, nothing I was like attached to. No, yeah, and when I was little, I used to like write my name a silly way that you could see like a wolf or a dragon in it. Ooh. It was so forced. Like if I pulled up a binder now, it would be like, that is very sweaty. What is that A doing? That does not fit. But I did that. Yeah.
Yo, that's what's up. And I mean, speaking of Tim Burton influences, these are your animals, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I did a whole series that lives under my bed right now, because what am I doing with it? Yeah, I did. My idea was a zoo that was just very messed up. So not very messed up, just the animals are sort of out of control. So that one's Fearless Fiddler Crabs, and they were all alliterations. And I laughed because I did all of them except Y, which as long as it remains uncompleted, I think that's more of a philosophical statement. The Y is missing. Yeah, I do have those in my little my reach here. I don't know which ones I sent you, but again, yeah, I just like here's a fish with its mouth wide open. It's very terrifying.
I am horrified by fish.
Oh,
same.
That fish is so cool.
They're awful. They're horrible.
They're the worst. It's so funny. I have such a fear of like ocean shit. I only recently learned that like submechanophobia. Have you heard of that?
No, but I think I have it.
Fear of man-made objects underwater.
Right.
So I know I got that from Disney World, because when we were little, there was that like lagoon where they used to have the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride. It was closed by the time I got there. But like when my parents were like, it's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea lagoon, there used to be a submarine, there was a squid. I was like, there's a squid. And then that was in the middle of Fantasyland, and it made me like nervous the whole time. So I didn't really like Fantasyland, because it was like, we are in the proximity of a lake full of terror things.
Yep.
And let's get out of here.
I had the same thing.
But now
the big old whale mouth, no.
No way. I didn't get to Disneyland until like adulthood, because that's not in Florida, but that was on a sing-along tape, and I did not care for that. But the irony is, I love drawing fishy things. I love them. They're textured. They're terrible. That's an X-rayed Sisyphus or something. X is a stretch. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, and I love drawing mermaids. I don't know if I sent you any mermaids.
Yes.
Did I?
I don't know that you sent them, but they are on your
on my
Instagram. Oh yeah, we have the Rockabilly Mermaid.
Oh yeah, that guy. I would do mermaid, but
mermaid.
Mermaid, yeah. I don't know if they did it this year. I was not paying attention. My brain was jello. It was on quarantine.
Yo.
Yeah, so I like drawing dragons and mermaids and all that other anything scaly and weird. You don't have to draw legs.
But yes, Stephen Kreml, she has participated in Mermaid. You can see it on her Instagram, LEDLite art. Yeah. I'm like obsessed with those. I freaking love the one where the mermaid is doing like the half moon pose.
That was based. I follow Emily Goldblum on Instagram, because I obviously I followed because she would post Jeff things, and then she does yoga and shit, and really good model. I think she might have liked it at some point, which I was flattered. But yeah, I used to draw. That's the other thing I sent you. The very weird. I used to go to. There was a thing in New York for the longest time that was called Dr. Sketchy's. I don't know who ran it. I just know my roommate recommended that I go, and it was they would take burlesque performers and they would do fandom themed life drawing. So that's how I sent you. There was someone like a naked woman, but with the 1998 Godzilla mask on.
Yes.
There was one week where they did Princess Leia, so it was the slave Leia, and she had a Yoda that she posed with. There was an Eon or Aeon Flux week where the model was like this very laggy burlesque performer, and they made it really fun. It was like you'd have different times. Sometimes they would do like a game or something, and you get a drink or whatever. But there it is, the busty Godzilla. I mean, when are you gonna get a chance to draw that and just be like, I saw that in real life? So yeah. Someone's got to be into that. I don't know.
That's so cool.
But it was a really fun thing. And then they sort of, I don't know what happened. The people who ran it changed hands. It slowed down. And I went to it once. I got in 2019. They did it like with the burlesque person at a new location, but I don't think it was the same people, which was a shame. Yeah. Did it once in London too. That was fun. I went
cool.
outside of London to like a very specific bar that I was like, I don't know how to get here, but I know that it's this chain of drawing, and it was really fun. So I was glad I did that.
Tell me about your artistic influences.
They're probably really basic. Yeah.
So?
I don't know. But when I was little, I was obsessed with, James Gurney with the Dinotopia series.
Yeah.
Oh my
Love
God.
Dinotopia.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dinotopia.
that hit around Jurassic Park times, right? So that was a big thing, which I think is funny because that was like Dinosaurs in Society, and then I got glommed onto this like Dragon series where it was sort of the same thing where they coincide.
It's very steampunk.
I feel like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
gizmos and stuff. And then, I mean, I was such a Disney kid. Like, it's cliche now, but it's just like it's true. I liked Edward Gorey too because lines.
Oh,
so many lines.
Yeah.
I can see the shadows in your art with Edward Gorey.
Yeah.
The way that like this sketchiness and the darkness, that's something that I know that when I was doing figure drawing, I would always be like, oh no, I have too many lines. Everything's so heavy, you know? But yours just like, it's like a thing is shining out from them. At least that's what I see.
Thanks.
Oh, this is fantastic. Yes.
Oh, Jar Jar.
I loved this
I
one.
drew Jar Jar so much when I was little. This was so satisfying because, like, Ahmed Best, when he reacted to that, I think, like, 11-year-old inside me was like, like, he saw it with his eyes. That was and that's the thing. When they prompt on the show and they go, like, you have basically until the guest disappears, which could be any second, that will put some motivation into Speed. Yeah, I'm not always.
Absolutely.
I have to decide before they start broadcasting if it's a night where I'm going to be drawing or not, because it completely changes my setup if I'm settling down or not, and like I'm relaxed or if I'm like poised. So I'm not as fast as everyone. People are so much faster than me. That's why I wind up photoshopping stuff sometimes because I'm pretty quick on Photoshop, like with just bullshit. So you see more of that recently just because I cannot keep up with how good some people are, some of the chat.
It's so hard to keep up. But I love your Photoshop stuff. The hut one was so good.
It's so gross. I saw Tusk by myself in an empty auditorium. So yeah.
Oh wow.
I have a history with there are movies I've seen in entirely empty movie theaters in New York City, and they are Tusk, Jupiter Ascending, and Black Cat. Entirely empty auditoriums.
I liked Jupiter Ascending. That was like
hate it.
Yeah.
No, it was very fun.
It was super fun.
It was weird. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah. I can picture what seat I was in, and it's funny because like I've had my first vaccination, and I'm due for my second one like in the next week or so, and I keep thinking about like if I could just get to the auditorium that I know is generally empty based on time of the day, I'd feel great about that. I sort of know that.
Yeah.
I miss movie theaters a lot. I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why my productivity this year. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. No, my throat's just dry. I think that's why my productivity this year tanked because it was like there's no coming out of the theater buzz.
There's something unique about seeing stuff in a theater in a room with people that you just can't necessarily replicate at home, and it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
What other things do you do to sort of get yourself in the drawing mood, in the art mood?
I have very bad playlists.
Nice.
very cheesy soundtracks. Yeah, I have a lot of soundtrack playlists that I blast. A lot of coffee, even if I'm not drinking it. Mm-hmm. It's just I just make a lot of it and it's present. Yeah. Sometimes I'll do like a stretch. I don't know. I have to do that or else I will wind up all crutched up.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, taking care of the physical form.
It's so easy to forget that, and I've been having to do that recently too because I've been drawing a lot, and my wrist was just like, "You're not drawing for a couple of days."
You gotta do these. Yeah. No, but like the movies that I mentioned Crimson Peak, I mentioned Bedtime Steel Rail. There are movies that like if I put them on, it'll like shake something loose. I mentioned those too. Julie Taymor's Titus, which is really intense and really long, always usually gets me wanting to draw things because it's like a mishmash of costume periods and Anthony Hopkins being goddamn incredible. So if that's like 3 hours long, it's very scary at certain parts. And I saw that when I was like really young, so it was weird, but like the art direction's insane. So I'll throw on if I can take it, if it's not too heavy. Pleasantville's another one. I love Pleasantville.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That was one when I was younger. I was like, I just was so enamored by like the colors and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things. Always Sunny. I'll marathon Always Sunny.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The most artistic of shows. Yeah. Yeah.
If you could be handed like a job, if someone was like, all right, LEDLite, we're gonna write up a thing that you're gonna do, this is gonna be the thing that capitalism has decided you will support yourself doing, because for some reason we can't just do things. Look, I think that moving from hunter-gatherers to agriculture was a terrible choice, and
we have shelves now. We don't need a shelf. I'm just kidding.
We don't need fucking shelves. We don't need any of this.
The beach.
Yes.
If we didn't have shelves, maybe Detours would have been released.
That's right.
Yeah.
They would just be roaming the field.
Yeah.
Dexter Jetster and all his friends.
Precisely.
It would.
But what would it be?
I mean, it wouldn't be much different than like the way fan artists who like make a living of it do. Like if I love. Like I don't think I sent you in the Dropbox, but like I drew a picture of like Loki and Sif kissing in December. It's on my Instagram, but like that wasn't a commission, but it wound up being bought by like a friend who was just super like, I love that, and they bought it right out of from under my pencil, and I mean, you go to museums and the people, they sort of, everything's quiet and they sort of, that's nice. And they walk along and you think like one painting is so freaking involved. Took person months or years or whatever.
Yeah.
But like when you do a commission, I love it because it's like, it's what the person wanted. They're going to put it in a place of pride, and you know, whatever joy they get out of it is very personal to them. And it's like, and your hard work is appreciated. So I do like commissioning work. Fortunately, not a sustainable thing so much. Doesn't have health care. That's a thing. Yeah. And the other thing that I always think is funny about like when you look at a 19th century big painting or something is like you'll read the caption and it'll be like, this artist based this on a scene from the novel, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, this is fan art. We're looking at fan art. Yeah. I mean, you can sugarcoat it, but if it's fictional, if it's, you know, whatever, it's really big fan art, and they didn't have digital tools in the day, so they spent months and months on that. I do think it's funny. I also like to think of like how weird it would be received if you just took like 7 months and you were like, this is a drawing of the initiation of Order 66, and it's like a 10 by 10 foot like painting of like, you know, Jedis being executed, but it's like, you know, Renaissance style. People would be like, what the fuck are you doing? And you'd be like, this is literally no different than like a lot of paintings that you're appreciating.
I like to imagine just this on the roof of a chapel.
Yeah. Yeah, just put some clouds, get in there, do some more additional shading. Yeah, that was a moment where Watto was laying like, you know, draw me like one of your French girls, Watto. That's the other thing. It's like a lot of people draw the Watto who lives at the Dakota as he looks on screen, but I love taking his poses and morphing them into actual Watto because I think it's more horrific.
And
Can you imagine though, Griffin being the body, like in the bodysuit for the CGI?
I don't think
Watto?
With the ping pong balls or like
Yes!
Okay, yeah,
With the ping pong balls, just like the Rocket Raccoon.
Oh
that-
yeah.
I think he would kill it. I think at this point he's lived as that character long enough that he would absolutely freaking kill it. So watch out, whoever actually played Watto, who I don't know. Yeah,
Absolutely. Have
Sorry.
you been on Mary's show yet? You have, correct? We've seen some of your art.
You've seen artwork. I didn't start watching. I feel really guilty. I didn't start watching until the George Lucas people were on. I dabbled in and out once or twice, but since I wasn't sitting down and drawing, I felt like I was an invader. So I didn't. So I sat down and I drew the from Mary's.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Her dog is so cute though. Oh my god.
Happy's adorable.
Yeah.
Happy is absolutely adorable.
So, yeah,
you have a cat. Does your
I
cat
do.
play into your art at all?
Only insofar that he knocks shit over or he stands on my keyboard. Yeah, there's a little Mary I did.
I loved all the portraits you did for that episode.
Yeah, that was me realizing that I actually can go faster if I use a pencil and not the iPad. So that's an important takeaway. Yeah, Patrick's beard. I felt guilty. I didn't get to do a Connor, but sorry, Connor. I've drawn him before. I've drawn him in other contexts. Yeah, Griffin with a monkey.
God.
I would never have picked a monkey. When I was name an animal, I was thinking squirrels and raccoons and stuff. So I'm glad he put in his interference. Also, Rebel, I don't know why he's named that. I don't know if it might not be a Star Wars thing. We inherited him from another family, so it was just coincidence. Yeah, but
speaking of drawing Connor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This was incredible.
I mean, he picked up a hammer. I'm not gonna pass up this moment. Yeah. I'm genuinely bummed that his museum is opening on the West Coast and not on the East Coast. I'm gonna have to travel to get to.
I'm bummed that it was supposed to be here in
What
San
was it?
Francisco.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
supposed
you're
to
West
be
Coast,
right
sorry.
here.
Yeah, but San Francisco threw a fuss. They even did a test exhibition here.
There's nothing in the place where it was going to be created. Yeah. There is nothing. They're like, oh no, but these
traffic.
bluffs. The bluffs that have no gorgeous views and have old military housing because we need to preserve
It was
that.
literally going to be in the same park that Lucasfilm operates out of, which would have just been so perfect.
Oh man, I found out someone that I know when I said how I'd been on the. I love when I have to talk about the George Lucas show in real life, and you have to do 10 layers of explanations.
Right.
But I mentioned that that's what I was watching on Sunday night, and he was like, I had a friend who worked sound at Skywalker Ranch, and I got to go there when I was little. And he's like, I don't remember anything. I remember they had this hardwood library. And I was like, you saw the stained glass. And he was like, what? And then I had to explain the stained glass. And I was like, you don't understand how special this was from a certain point of view. Yeah. So, yeah.
I already wanted to go to the ranch, but the whole stained glass story has only increased that by so much.
The niche things that I know about George Lucas, considering I've never seen American Graffiti still or THX 1138 still. I did see Howard the Duck this year, and I didn't. I think that's all I've completed from the George. But yeah, for 600 people to stay, that's a big deal. Yeah, so tell me of the glass. Yeah, yeah. I've met 2 people who've been to Skywalker Ranch that's just come up, and I've been both times. You're not listening. Yeah. I'll watch American Graffiti. I will get to it. We are still in quarantine.
I also haven't seen American Graffiti.
I haven't seen Radio Late Murders.
I've only seen Radio Late Murders because of GLTS. And I saw Howard the Duck as a little kid, but I think my brain was like, you don't need to remember any of this. So
if it was the temporary cache and it cleared out,
Yeah. Or all you remember is that there's pretty lights and bright like rotoscope effects.
That's how I felt about Captain EO until about
Yes.
And you know what? Until I want to say until Michael Jackson passed away, I thought Captain EO was a nightmare I had as a child.
Yeah.
Because it had the lady from Witches, you know. I mean, it had Angelica Houston. I know it was Angelica Houston, but in my head, it was the lady from Witches coming out of the ceiling and being terrible. That's a nightmare that I could have just had. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I had the same thing. I remember it as I kept taking the 3D glasses off because I was scared. And I was like, I'm going to remind myself this isn't real. You can't hurt me, Angelica Houston.
That's a good defense. That's how I remember when I saw Jurassic Park for the first time. Like, I can still remember what the wall looks like because I had to look at it a couple times. Because I was, what's happening to that cow right now? Yeah, remember the little curtained wall of the darkened movie theater. Yeah.
I remember I read the foreword of that book. I was like, oh, this is a movie, so I should be able to read the book, right? Because I'm a nerdy kid and I'm smart, so I read the books of things. And I read the foreword of it, and it's burned into my memory, and it's just... It's a piece about a little girl. She's on a beach.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
the beginning
a
of
velociraptor rips her apart.
Is it a raptor?
It's raptor.
Oh, okay, yeah. They must have redid that for Lost World because they had the little compy guys. Oh, yeah.
Yep,
there you go.
Raptor. And I was like looking at it, and I'm like, yes, much like the sea foam, the blood on its muzzle, and I'm like, ah!
No, thank you. Yeah. It was yeah. I actually, what's really funny is during quarantine, you know, cleaning the house times, I found my journal from like second grade, and I have from my terrible handwriting. I found the day that I saw 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea for the first time, I noted that I did not like the giant squid, and I spelled it wrong, and I wrote like SQ, but the Q has both the way a G would go and a Q would go because I wasn't sure. But it's like this is the exact day that I got traumatized by practical effects. That's what they are. Yeah.
Digital magic would never.
I mean, as much as I love pirates, the weakest part in Dead Man's Chest is that the tentacles are very CG. Not Davy Jones, but just the attack on the ship is very computery. Davy Jones is fucking great.
Davy Jones still looks incredible.
I love him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I worked in Disney World at the time when they were putting in Davy Jones on the curtain of fog. So me and my friend, exactly. So they had, in the beginning of the ride, you'd come through and he'd be like, so says I, Davy Jones. And I think they took that out. And I'm like, I think that was a good addition. Like, as much as the extra Jack Sparrow robots people fight about, whatever, Davy Jones they should have kept. But yeah, I worked in that gift shop for like 2 nights because you could pay, if you were trained for merchandise, like I was for Star Wars, you could pick up a shift anywhere that had the same training. So I picked up a shift in the Pirates shop, but it was the month they were closed to update the ride, and you have never seen angry visitors the way... Which way is the entrance to the ride? Oh, actually, it's closed. I know you came from Australia. Yeah, so a lot of people...
no.
Would you like to buy a sword, or I could give you a doubloon? And it was like... Yeah, so... Any customer service issue is never going to rival that. The I came to Disney World. This is my favorite ride. My children are here. Yeah, it's really funny.
Wow.
So, /terrible.
That's my fear,
right?
With Galaxy's Edge, because I know that I've heard that there's some operating issues with the Falcon, not the Falcon,
Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance, and so I'm just like, and it's not even that far from me. It's just a 6-hour drive, but. The idea of flying and then having that perfectly understandable, unavoidable thing happen is just like, oh.
Well, I think the funniest joke, having worked at a tourist location, the funniest joke in the MCU is when I'm not a big Spider-Man person, but in Spider-Man, the more recent one, they go to Venice and the museum is closed, and they're like, till when? And they're like, November, it's under construction. And I'm like, you didn't Google beforehand? Right. Like that hit me in my Disney World soul, where I was like, it's down for refurb and you didn't even know, you know. So that was accurate. Or same thing if I watched, my favorite parts of Jurassic World have to do with theme park mismanagement. I hate that the sequel to Jurassic World just gave up on the theme park. That was the best part of the first one. Yeah. whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Lauren,
just
thank
a
you
6-hour drive.
so insanely much for joining us.
Yeah.
This has been so much fun. I want to just talk about movies forever.
Yeah.
If you ever need, here's my ticket stub book. My pandemic activity has been logging my ticket stubs.
Yeah, this is so
Oh
cool.
my God, it's so cute. It's like the dreams.
Jurassic Park. There you go.
Oh my God. Adorable.
That's what I do when I can't draw. I scrapbook. Oh, shit. And I
That's
break
incredible.
iPads.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely want to talk about that. I want to talk about so many things, but it's 6 o'clock. It's 6
It's
o'clock
9
here.
o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, friends, which means that if you are going to be joining the pre-show, you need to head over to the Discord, jump in that queue, the Case Come Radio
voice chat, yeah.
to listen. Friends, you're all going to see Chris Gethard with a box, and Will Hines
in the
with a box, and Christy Cello with a box.
And
Are there
probably
going to
Patrick
be more
Kottner
boxes?
with item P.
I can't stay up late enough to get any of the lore of this show. I like dip in and out, and I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Yo, I feel like that's for everyone, even if you've been watching.
I watch it every week, and I'm still just like, this is happening. Oh, that's a rule. Wow. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Item P is insane.
Item P is insane. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
It's Kottner's single item.
Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. All of you, we love you so much. We're gonna, LEDLite, we need to talk about movies. We need to talk about scrapbooking. We need to talk about so many things. But thank you all so much for joining us right now. I release you to the wild. I know that we're all clamoring. Lauren's incredible. Lauren, where can people see your stuff?
Yeah.
Where can they follow you?
My screen name on Instagram is LEDLite Art. So if you just take my screen name there and add art to it, it's there. It's not updated enough, but it exists.
There's gorgeous stuff there.
I do have laurendamon.com because I'm 10,000 years old and I bought a .com. You'll see more art there. You'll also see my end of my movie review interview career there, because as long as things are not on the big screen, I stepped away from doing it because I don't feel like I can judge movies properly without a big screen. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So you'll see reviews there. Then you're like, she's a movie critic, and it's like, yeah, former.
But that's still so cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So
To
I
really
will be,
dive into those.
yeah, I'll be revamping my website to just do art, I think. Yeah. Websites. Yeah.
Websites. There's so much. They're
There's so much.
I like my .com. I'm territorial about it. I
get that.
I own my name, and that was important to me in 2009.
Yeah, I can't get my name.
Oh, there's more Forrest Phillips?
Yeah. It's
because it's a boring
the
generic
best
last
part
name.
is it's not even up. It's not even accessible. It's like a private domain for members of that family to discuss things with each other.
It's a group chat.
It's a group chat. It's a domain dedicated to a group chat.
You don't need a domain for this.
Also, you
Okay.
can have a cheaper, funner one.
Stretch goal, buy that domain off that family.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Get that GoDaddy guy back on the phone.
Yes. I
Anyway.
love it.
But
Yeah,
thank
Thank
you
you
so much
for joining
Thanks
us.
everybody for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We will see you all in the chats. Go check out the pre-show, and good night and good